and introduce my, I am known in Washington as literally Jill Biden's husband, and I'm known in Delaware as Beau Biden's father. So I'm becoming irrelevant very quickly, and I'm happy to. My dad used to have an expression. He'd say, you know your success when you turn and look at your child and realize they turned out better than you. I'm a success. Folks, I want to introduce you to my grandchildren as well. There happen to be Beau and Hallie's children, but they're first my grandchildren. There should be Hunter Biden, named after his uncle, and my other son, Hunter Biden. And what is your name? Natalie Biden. Of course, you know Beau and you know Jill. I don't want to keep you very long, but I do want to say something about Jim Baker, Mayor Baker. The truth is, before we started campaigning together, we started working together. Jim came here as a community organizer. I was a young public defender. The way we got to know each other was through my clients. They were people he was trying to help. And I remember Jim, I think we met, I may be mistaken, but I think we met near Blackie Black's pool hall on the east side. No, I'm serious. I had a client, and you were doing some community organizing. And so we owed Jim. Jim came to Delaware. I was in Delaware. But Jim, the thing I love about Jim is the only thing that guides him is his heart with a very, very large intellect. And I really mean this sincerely. You notice, he does not care about what he says. He speaks truth to power.
Absolutely.
You may kid and we joke, but he speaks truth to power all the time. We'd be all lucky if we had a whole lot more people who hold public office in both parties who spoke truth to power like Jim and cared less, the least pretentious guy that I know. Jim, you've done an incredible job as mayor. You have spoken truth to power, and I tell you, this city and all of us owe you a lot. Every time Barack, the president, and I are together, and there is something happening in the mayors of the cities and Jim's there, I always stand up and I introduce the president, but I start off by introducing my mayor. My mayor. And my president, our president, knows my mayor very well and knows the job he's doing. Look, the reason we're here is that Beau and I are here, and Jill and the kids and Carla is to thank you. You know, I know you hear 1,000 Dr. King stories. I came up when Dr. King was still leading the civil rights movement in the very beginning. I remember the first memory I had as a kid in grade school was turning on a black and white TV and seeing Bull Connor and his dogs, attacking women in their Sunday go-to-meeting clothes or marching along, just trying to make their voice heard. I worked on the East Side, and for a long time, not a long time, in my youth in college, over in Price's Run, and became very close. I mean, the reason I got so deeply involved in the community is some of my closest friends, and the guys I grew up working with in the East Side. And as I said today at the breakfast that was held, I'm a senator only because of the folks on the East Side and the West Side and people who I've worked with my whole life. And they taught me so much. They taught me so very, very much. And my one regret is I got to meet an awful lot of guys who worked with and knew and were close to Dr. King. I never got to meet Dr. King because he was assassinated the year that I came back from law school, when the city was in flames. Literally, 1968, the city was in flames. He had an expression you've heard all the time: injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And I know that sounds like just great rhetoric, but it literally is true. Those are the words of Dr. King and the words that I think best represent this community now, this community of service. You represent the community of service. You're the people who have no good reason to be here except to help, except to be engaged. You know, those words inspired me, but when I was a kid. But as corny as it sounds, you're the ones that inspire me now as a much older man, Vice President of the United States of America. You often read in the national press or see in the national press Biden referred as the optimist in the White House. Well, I am an optimist. They say it almost like I'm naive, that my optimism is born out of naivete. But I've been there for 8 presidents. I've been the United States Senator with the good graces of all of you for, I've been elected 7 times. I'm not new. As my grandpa would say, I didn't fall off the turnpike yesterday. I've been around. And I am even more encouraged today than I was a 29-year-old kid when I got elected to the United States Senate. And it's because of looking out at folks like you. Carlos said it best. These are difficult times. A lot of people hurt. A lot of people hurt. Black folks, white folks, Asian, Muslim, Christian, Jew. A lot of people hurt through no fault of their own. All of a sudden, this international economy collapsed around their ears, and a lot of people hurt. The people get hurt the most all the time are poor. They're already poor. It just sort of squeezes everything further down. And folks, serving today is I know it's a day, and a lot of you do it many days. But showing up today, when Bo said to me, I hope I don't embarrass you, Bo said, I want the kids to come today, because you want to get them the habit. It's a habit. It's a habit. If your parents have brought your children, it's a good habit to teach, like any other habit. The habit of service. There's nothing unusual about it. By the time Bo was born, he's been going to events up and down the state. It becomes a habit. The habits are the things that form your character. Good habits or bad habits. And so all of you who brought your children, it's a good habit. It's a good habit to start. As I said, I know these are tough times, but the fact of the matter is that I think I want to read a King quote that I think best explains the point Jim was making, and I won't make it as well. So let me use Dr. King's words. He said, everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve, in spite of what my English teaching wife says to me. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. Is that complicated? It is that simple. Everybody can do something. Everybody can do something. And everybody has an obligation to do something. Even if it's just a simple little act of kindness. That's what I think Martin Luther King Day is all about, the holiday. It's just about doing something. And the thing that I'm so proud of is I work with a guy who's done a lot. A guy who came out, another community organizer like Jim, who I'm happy and proud to serve with. He and Michelle become close friends with Jill and mine. By the way, today's Michelle's birthday, too. That's pretty cool, isn't it? But they're doing a public service act today as well in Washington, like we did last year in Washington. Here's Jill. I thought that's on the wrong side. But the fact of the matter is, today we're all kind of great. Because I really mean it's not complicated. Just do something. Not just today. And I look out in the eyes of all of you, you aren't just here today, I know. Just doing something. Sitting down right, I just got back from Afghanistan. And for my multiple, I don't know how many trips, 17, 18 times in Iraq. Go and see these soldiers who are doing all kinds of work and dangerous stuff. But you know what? When they receive, Bo can tell you, he was in Iraq a year. When they receive a letter, an anonymous letter, just says, dear soldier, dear warrior, dear friend, I know it sounds corny, but it matters to them. You ought to see them. I just got back, as I said, from Iraq, and I'm in Afghanistan. I was in they call the DFAC, the dining hall. There were 350 people there. And the commanding general, the soldiers, the commanding general was surprised, and I kind of slowed him up because I shook hands with, and had a picture taken with all 352 of them. And he said, why'd you do that? I appreciate it. Why'd you do that? And it's just to let each of those soldiers know, we know what they're doing. Whether you're a family member who has a son or daughter deployed in Iraq or Afghanistan or anywhere else in the world, you know what it's like. Every single morning you get up and they're on your mind, every moment of the day. Every idle moment, they rush, storming your mind. Over 2 million American service people have gone into Iraq and Afghanistan. Over 40,000 dead. 40,000 seriously wounded. And over almost 5,000 dead. And guess what? They make up only 1% of the population. And their families carry the burden for the whole country. I know you all appreciate it. But let them know. As Jill would say, she works very closely with military families. Just one little act of kindness. In the summer, go to your next door neighbor, someone deployed, cut their lawn. Now, offer to take their kid to the movie when you take your child to the movie. Show up. All they want to know is you know. That's all they want to know. All they want to know is you. They don't even want you to say thanks. Just so you know. And all those folks who are going to be putting on warm coats, all those people who are going to be in a position just a little tiny bit better today, it makes them believe not only in you, but believe in themselves. So folks, you're making a contribution. We aren't setting the world on fire. We're not changing everything overnight. But all these collective acts of kindness are the things that add up to make us who we are, and particularly in the tough times. So I'm here literally to say thank you. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. I wanted to be home. Jill and I wanted to be home this Dr. King holiday. They wanted this out to be nationally before in the first couple of times. I wanted to be home. Lynn was saying that there's everybody kids me always quoting Irish poets. They think I do it because I'm Irish. I don't do that. I do it because I'm the best poets. And there's a comment, I've said this before and I'll say it again. There's a comment attributable to James Joyce, famous Irish